And stakeholders at Eskom return to the negotiation table this morning.
Well, yesterday, unions rejected the power utilities 5% wage offer. They're demanding 9%. NUMSA, NUM and Solidarity believe their demand is reasonable and say it is up to the power giant to break the impasse now. Eskom management had indicated it needed time to consult. It's expected to report back on the matter today.
All right, energy expert Chris Yellen joins us now on Skype to discuss this. Chris, thank you for joining us. I want you to tell our viewers, who has the upper hand in this negotiation, would you say?
Yeah, it's sad that there should be this kind of negotiating process where it is management versus workers, where each party is trying to obtain the upper hand. Certainly from the Labour point of view, they have demonstrated that they are able to effectively shut down very significant portions of Eskom's generation fleet. My calculation is that during the previous load shedding about a week or so ago, some 6,000 megawatts was taken offline over and above any other generation capacity that was down for maintenance or unplanned outages. So I think Labour has demonstrated that they are able to and willing to really place security of supply of South Africa at risk in order to get their own way, and this puts them in a very strong negotiating position indeed.
All right, now the workers, the unions are rejecting Eskom's 5% increase, despite it having also offered them an above-inflation increase for next year and 2020. Now, what's your take on the deal? Do you think that's a good offer? Do you think they should just take it?
Well, I think there needs to be a re-looking at the way in which Labour and management negotiate. The way it's being done at the moment is a kind of a throwback to the past of the early 20th century, and is really not suitable for the developmental needs of a country like South Africa, where we need to really, the shareholder, the financiers, executives and executive management, staff and workers, customers and suppliers are actually in a partnership, and all of them require a sustainable business model for Eskom, and it really should not be about one stakeholder threatening the others or the rest. This is a recipe for ongoing conflict. The company Eskom is in deep financial difficulty, and its sustainability is critical not only for the management but for the staff, the workers, suppliers, customers, financiers and shareholder as well.
Well, you brought up a very interesting point, the sustainability and the fact that Eskom is in financial crisis. Do you think the unions really thought out this strike, and have they really thought out this wage negotiation? Because Eskom is under pressure. Have they thought about where this money will actually come from?
No, I think the unions obviously have a particular position, and their worldview, for me anyway, seems completely out of line with the realities of the financial difficulties facing Eskom and indeed the whole country. So I think they really are lacking in a proper understanding of the needs to ensure sustainability in their own interest and that of their families as well.
All right, let's talk more about that. Now, this increased wage bill will obviously put pressure on Eskom, but when you look at the structure of Eskom, it has, from what I hear, about 500 executives earning more than 2 million rand a year. Do you think some of those cuts should come from the executives, in your opinion?
Yes, 100%. Look, there's two aspects to this matter. Number one, there's the wages and salary increases. Now, Eskom has announced that all executives and management and staff will be taking a 0% increase this year. Of course, Labour is looking for something like 10% after having dropped from 15% to just under 10%. So that's a significant increase in the wages bill. Management has indicated that they will not be giving increases or bonuses this year. But in fact, none of this solves the real problem, because Eskom is seriously overstaffed by all international standards and benchmarks, not only internationally but in Africa. To the extent they currently have about 47,000 employees. And they need to trim that down by at least a further 15,000 employees. So the real work that has to be done is in terms of right-sizing the staffing for an organization like Eskom Having a 0% increase or a 5% increase or whatever it's going to be is not solving the problem of Eskom's serious over expenditure.
Well, thank you, Chris Yellen. But before we let you go, I know you are an energy expert, but I've got to ask you, what's your gut feel on this? How do you think this is going to end? Now, workers and unions are faced with perhaps a wage increase or a possible retrenchment down the line. What's your gut feel on how this will all play out down the line?
Well, my view is that they are likely to get an inflationary kind of retrenchments or natural attrition further down the line. I think that's almost inevitable. Eskom executives are looking at a major new business strategy, and I think it includes the possibility of a complete business restructuring. So this has very significant impacts for the whole organization of Eskom and for the electricity supply industry and, of course, for labor itself.
All right, Chris Yellen, unfortunately, we have to let you go. Once again, thank you for your insights and analysis, and it's always a pleasure and enlightening talking to you. Hope to speak to you real soon.